EFF leader Julius Malema is now addressing supporters outside the Remgro offices in Stellenbosch. Let's take you live to those pictures.
Members of the Central Command Team, the PCT, and all RCTs who are here, and the hosting region. And we also want to salute our ground forces. We are very happy that you mobilized our people to come and mark this day as a land day. More than 300 years ago, they arrived here and they took our land. They killed our forefathers, they raped our mothers, they stole the cattle, and now they've settled here. And they call this place their place. But deep down they know that they've stolen from us. And whether it is these ones who are living now or not, as long as you are in possession of stolen goods, you are a criminal, because they inherited this land. And anyone who says they bought this land, they bought it from the money that was coming from the proceeds of crime. They bought it from the money that came from the exploitation of black people. And Johan Rupert and his family and the Oppenheimers and many of these rich white families in South Africa, they are the face of the land criminal that was committed in this country. That's why we are here to say to Rupert, your riches come out of stealing from black people. Your riches come from the exploitation of black people. So our people work in the wine farms and you don't pay them anything. Instead, you pay them with bottles of wine and alcohol, because you have no regard for black people and black dignity. So you are not rich because you are smarter than us. You are rich because your forefathers committed a black genocide and stole our cattle and killed our leaders and took everything that belongs to us. The sea belongs to us. The minerals of this country belongs to us. And we demand that all of those things must be returned into the hands of the rightful owners. We are here today to confront white monopoly capital, that we as the EFF, we exist everywhere, and even here in Stellenbosch we exist. And when the program of land expropriation starts, it will also start here in Stellenbosch and will reclaim our land. You must be ashamed that our people live in squalor, in Kayamnandi, and you stay in wine farms, wine estate in the suburbs, the only black township. There is no any other settlement for black people, for indigenous people, for the rightful owners of this Stellenbosch. They don't have any other place. They are squatting in Kayamnandi. You don't give them even a smallest piece of land so that they too can live comfortably like you. Now they are there, they are isolated. When you sell farms, you sell to each other. When a black person buys a farm, you refuse. If it's not a white person, you stop the transaction. We want the farms to be given to black people. You've got enough land, Rupert. Start releasing some of it voluntarily now, before the land revolution visits you. All those white people who have a lot of land, lot of properties, lot of wealth, please start sharing it with the people of South Africa, because they are losing their patience. This youth is here today during working hours in their numbers because they are not working and because they've got no land to work on. Our poverty is because of lack of ownership of land. That's why I always argue with South Africans that you are beating a Zimbabwean. That is not cause of your problem. He doesn't own the land. Your problem starts because you don't own the land. You must go to those who own the land. When you get the land, your problems are solved. Because their problems were solved when they came here 6 April 1652, led by a gangster, a convicted criminal, Jan van Riebeck. They arrived here and stole our land. These are children of criminals. Jan van Riebeck was brought here as part of his punishment. He didn't come here because he was a good tourist who spotted a beautiful land. He's a thug, even where he comes from. He's a criminal. That's why he continued with his criminal activities by stealing our land and our cattle when they arrived here. So we want to make it a point that fighters, we remind them every year on the 6th of April that they must never forget that they are in possession of proceeds of crime, and that makes them criminals, and they must be reminded annually to return that which belongs to us. For as long as they have our land in their possession, we will never be friends. We are not Nelson Mandela of reconciliation. How can you reconcile with a person you have never been with before? We have to be together first and then go apart to come and reconcile. How can we reconcile when we have never been one? And we will never be one. What is the cause of the problem? You are in possession of stolen goods. How do I find a person who stole my car and say to this person, let's reconcile, but he's still keeping the car? I bring my car first. We will talk if I'm forgiving you or not. For as long as you are in possession of my stolen vehicle, we will never be friends. That's what makes us not to be friends. We coexist because we are children of peaceful warriors. We do not enjoy blood, but we are not scared of blood. The only thing we are scared of is of being defeated. When we fight to win. We don't want to lose. And when that day comes, we will emerge victorious. The reason we are not declaring war is not because we are cowards. We want a peaceful settlement of the land. Why? We are not our grandfathers and grandmothers. That treatment you gave to our grandparents, you will never give it to us. We know who we are. We know what we stand for. We know what we represent. And we represent the future. And that future is the land. There is no future in South Africa without the ownership of the land by the people of South Africa. Indigenous people of South Africa. Stop this thing of saying, no, it was the Khoi and we were all here. Where? In Africa. Yes. Africa is one. We are one thing. Don't say, yeah, there was this one or that one before. We were all here because we are the Khoi and the Khoi is us. Why do you want to divide us and make us as if we are two different nations? We are not from Europe. The Khoi are not from Europe. You are from Europe. That's why we always remind you that don't be too comfortable. You are on a stolen land. And this land, we demand it back. How can the rightful owners, so many years in Stellenbosch, we only have Kayamnandi. Only now, the EFF has now occupied the land and called it Azania. We want more of such occupation so that we take our land and allow our people to stay, but also to farm. We need to start working the land. We don't want the land to settle only. We want commercial land to own properties. We want commercial land to own the wine farms. We don't want a rotten land. We want a fertile land, because in any way we are the ones who are working this land now. There is no white man who works the land. They exploit our people. We are not lazy. Stop asking us, what are you going to do when you get the land? It's none of your business. It's our land. We will decide what we do with it. You found us here working the land. When you came here, you did not come with a cattle. There is no cattle here that which they say this cattle is originally from Netherlands. There's no such a cattle. All of it came from here. The most beautiful one is called Nguni. How can Nguni come from Netherlands? It's Nguni because it comes from here. You found us having cattle and working the land. Stop asking us stupid questions. We know you are challenged, you are fools, but don't expose yourself. This land, we've been working it before Jan van Riebeck arrived here. He found us working it, pushed us to the useless land, and took the most fertile land. We want to return to the fertile land. We want to return in the farms where our great-grandfathers and mothers are buried, because that's where we belong. So fighters, this is the beginning of the struggle of the land. The 6th of April is not only the day they murdered Solomon Mahlangu, it is also the day they arrived here and took our land. After taking the land, when they were commemorating the arrival of Jan van Riebeck on the 6th of April, they killed Solomon Mahlangu. They must be reminded that they killed Solomon Mahlangu. And who sanctioned the killing of Solomon Mahlangu? It was a judge, a white judge, presiding over what is called law. Law is not always just. And if law is not just, it doesn't deserve the respect of our people. It was Solomon Mahlangu was not killed in Vlakplaas. He was killed in the cells because a white judge said he must be killed. A judge. He was not sanctioned by hit squad or gangsters. It was a judge from a bench that said Solomon Mahlangu, who fought for our freedom, must be killed on this day. And they must be reminded that they celebrated the killing of Solomon Mahlangu, a soldier of Mkhonto Wesizwe, who was fighting for our freedom. And for Solomon Mahlangu, like all of them, to rest in peace, there must be the return of the land. Solomon Mahlangu, Chris Hani, Winnie Mandela, Steve Biko, A.P. Mdam, Collins Majombozi, all of them, Robert Subukwe, they never fought for us to drive blue lights and stay in parliament. They were fighting for the land.
All right, EFF leader there, Julius Malema, speaking to his supporters outside the Remgro offices, saying that he wants the land back from the likes of Johan Rupert.